So tell us more about how you cut off your finger. Was there blood everywhere?
There was a little bit of blood, and I almost passed out, but I managed to keep it together. And it wasn't too deep; it was just a bit of a cut there. But even so, I still had to get stitches, so it was weird going through that.
Oh, I'm alive, so everyone's confused why you were bleeding all over the place now. How about that for a cold opening? Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We're at our bi weekly stream, I suppose, talking about Sonic X episodes once again.
Yeah.
There we are. So, how's everyone? Look, you're doing fine?
Yes, I'm doing quite well, thank you.
And you, Captain?
It's warming up over here, so I'm doing better.
That's good. It's been a while since you've been here.
Yeah, sorry about the past couple of episodes.
Oh well, things can happen. You're a superhero. You have things to do.
That is correct.
So yeah.
And I've been doing fine too. Recently just got done marathoning all 9 seasons of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I tell you, the ending to the last episode still makes me cry.
Yeah, last episodes do that. Either out of happiness or sadness that it's over, or out of patheticness how terrible it was. It's difficult.
What's your opinion on G5?
Generation 5. It's so far it's interesting. I've already seen the new movie that came out on Netflix, the My Little Pony: A New Generation, and yeah, it's interesting. It is kind of a bit odd. It's trying to do its own thing, but still referencing Generation 4. Especially when you look back at some of the early concept arts, and it turns out, yeah, G5 was originally just going to be like a full-on reboot of G4, one of the early ideas. But yeah, so far I like the new characters and the new setting. Basically, it sort of takes place like many years after the events of G4, and the magic's gone. So like unicorns have lost their magic, Pegasus ponies can't fly, Earth ponies are just Earth ponies. So they're kind of back to just being like, oh, against each other. But then, power of friendship, they managed to get back together. So yeah, it's a decent film. It has some flaws here and there, but it does make me interested on what Generation 5 is going to be like in the future.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, kind of.
Ponies. I'm sure the captain might know what I'm talking about.
That's what all that matters. Alrighty. Do we want to go into the Sonic X immediately, or do you want to talk about the new Sonic Frontiers picture that was leaked and everyone was upset about or something? Is anyone interested in talking about that?
I guess we could talk about the image, because I feel like there's not a whole lot to talk about it.
Yeah, everyone's just upset about the model, I guess, which I don't really care about.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's been annoying me. The whole, they're recycling the Sonic Forces model. Oh, this sucks, man. And I'm like, oh, great, it's the Green Eyes drama all over again.
Exactly.
Yeah,
to be honest, I don't really care.
Yeah, we have bigger worries to worry about. But yeah, I guess it feels lazy, maybe, but, whatever. If the model was good, then why bother reusing it? Although I do hope they have better animation, because the animation was kind of terrible in Forces. Forces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but...
It's so annoying that the new game also starts with an F, and I started to confuse it too, but my poor old brain can't handle it.
Yeah, well, if they're recycling the Sonic Forces model, well, maybe this time they'll have some idle animation, because Forces didn't have that for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I guess they didn't assume people would be standing still in the game. You're supposed to keep running, I guess. That's why enemies also don't attack and all that. But yeah, this being an open world game, I assume people are going to be standing still a lot more.
I agree that like the animations are what held the Forces model back. It didn't animate very well. But like based on just the trailer, which like we've already discussed, like Sonic looks good in the trailer.
Yeah, but those are pre-rendered probably. So yeah.
Yeah. So it feels like they're taking animation a little more seriously, at least.
If the animation is involved with the main game and not just made for the preview, like exclusively. Yeah. Because remember, the Sonic Forces initial trailer also never happened in the actual game, with Sonic and classic Sonic running towards the robot.
Exactly.
But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so we addressed it, I guess, but not much to talk about it. So let's go to Sonic X. Sonic X episode 18. And wow, I have to say, this series is a lot better than I remembered. So that's good. Anyone wants to do the
Sure, yeah.
synopsis? Yeah.
So this episode starts with Tails, Chris, and Sonic flying over the savannah, and Eggman just attacks immediately, which was very interesting.
Pretty
And
awesome,
Sonic,
cool opening, yeah.
yeah, and Sonic pulls out a power ring immediately and just completely downs his ship.
I
Just-
guess
it
we
was-
have to mention the ship is called Egg Fortress. I got an angry listener who was really upset if we didn't get the name right. It's the Egg
Oh, okay.
Fortress. So there you go. Happy now. But yeah, keep going. Yeah.
So yeah, they just down Eggman's fortress immediately, and Tails the X Tornado gets hit by the explosion, and it goes down as well. So a very eventful first minute of the episode.
Yeah.
So Tails is on the ground, fixing the X Tornado. Funny little thing is, like, he encourages Chris to take a nap because the repairs are going to take a while, and it takes him only a minute.
Yeah.
Eggman's fortress crashed into a swamp, and he sends Deco and Boko out in a giant gorilla mech to go
With
find
boobs.
Sonic with boobs for some reason. There's a little moment I want to bring up right now, and it's while they're in the swamp. Eggman like leans out of a porthole, and he's surrounded by crocodiles. And like, there's a big difference between the Japanese and the English version of this scene. In the Japanese version, he just electrocutes all of the crocodiles, but in the English version, he doesn't. But it still cuts to him over all of these unconscious crocodiles, implying that he just beat the shit out of them with his bare hand. It's one of my favorite like implications ever, and it's one of the reasons I love watching the quote unquote inferior 4Kids dub. It's just silly moments like this.
You have to find the jokes yourself,
Anyways.
but when you do find them, they're very funny. Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, so with Tails and Chris having fixed the tornado, or rather Tails had fixed it, they go off and they find some Russian mobsters building a dam in the middle of a desert for no reason. And
That's funnier in
it's
the
like-
Japanese version. Like in the American version, they imply they're. Oh, maybe you should talk about that later. Sorry. You keep going.
This construction is displacing a lot of wildlife, and Tails gets strangely angry, like, at the animals, and he calls them worthless or something. It's very strange and kind of a little out of character for Tails. And then he like has a flashback to the first time he ever met Sonic, and it's kind of a wholesome moment because like Tails like is bullied for being a mechanic, I guess. But then he sees Sonic, and he thinks he's really cool for some reason, and he follows Sonic, and he sees the plane, and he fixes the plane, and he paints it blue, and suddenly he's Sonic's best friend. It's great. Anyways, so Chris and Tails go and get the local population to protest the dam, and then
It works for now, and then
Yeah.
the gangsters have to leave.
the gangsters leave, and then they plan on burning down the jungle, which would somehow bring floods, I guess. But while they're out there, they they encounter E65, the giant gorilla robot with boobs, and it starts fighting Sonic, and it can like turn invisible, which is pretty interesting. And so it's actually like beating up Sonic for a while, so Sonic starts listening for it rather than looking for it, and that helps, and he's able to fight it. But then like that becomes pointless because he fights it to the dam, and suddenly they realize that it can't blend into metal somehow. So it can like turn invisible around plants and rocks, but not metal, which seems like that should have been something Eggman would have known about. Considering how the hell did he test this if not inside one of his own bases?
Yeah.
And so Sonic destroys the gorilla, and it explodes. And then he challenges Eggman to a fight, and Eggman accepts. So props to Eggman for actually trying to fight Sonic himself. He naturally loses, but he tried. And then they leave, and that's it.
Yeah, a very eventful episode. I hear Luke chuckling. You got something to say, Luke?
Well, about the whole episode, it does feel like watching a Captain Planet episode.
Yeah.
Because the villains are pretty much Captain Planet villains. Where like, oh, look, we're going to hurt the environment. And Tails is practically Marty trying to be like a friend to all the animals.
Yep.
Pretty much. At the very end, Boken comes in with the machine, and Eggman says, okay, the robot's now going to tap dance. I thought the giant robot monkey's going to be the one tap dancing, so I didn't really expect Boken to be the one doing it.
Well, I guess the big ape was dead at that point, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to see the monkey tap dance.
That would have been
Dance,
funny,
monkey,
yeah.
dance.
I felt so sorry for the monkey because you actually see it all terrified before it gets killed. And Sonic X is really like dark in that matter, but all the robots have feelings. Yeah.
Also, at the very beginning, Sonic just completely goes through and destroys the egg fortress. Because I thought Eggman would have at least put shields on it, which would most people would put on their starships.
Yeah, it does feel kind of anticlimactic. You can just destroy the airship right in one hit.
I think he just want to cut back on his budget or something, like he can't afford shields.
Possibly. He focuses on too many things at the same time. But yeah, that is kind of like the problem with shows like this, where Sonic is just too powerful when he has that ring, so he can just basically destroy Eggman's egg fortress in one hit, so then you kind of wonder why there's tension in any later episodes. But yeah, this episode was very funny. Yeah, there's a lot of fun cartoon moments here. There's a lot of things to talk about. Yeah, so first of all, it's kind of dark with the crocodiles that they get electrocuted. I mean, the captain says they're unconscious. I hope so, because they don't really go into if the crocodile's still alive or not. But it kind of reminds me of a lot of cartoons. They always kind of be...
Well,
yeah.
I can't say for sure whether the Japanese version intends for them to be dead, but since like that scene is cut from the 4Kids dub, it's just like we can assume they are unconscious because they weren't electrocuted.
Fair enough, I suppose. Yeah,
There is that when the egg fortress crashed into the water, it shocked the crocodiles so much they ended up being unconscious. The shock of the impact.
No. Eggman does it on purpose. He actually walks to a lever and it sends an electric shock outside of the building.
I know, just like maybe like as that wasn't in the 4Kids version, it's implied that maybe when the it fell into the water, it shocked it.
No, because when he first leans out of the porthole, they are conscious, and they are threatening him. And then it cuts to the gorilla robot, and then it cuts back to Eggman, and they are on their backs.
And Eggman has his fist raised to show even more the implication that he beat them up.
Yeah, I like the idea that Eggman like knows melee hand-to-hand combat, like how movie Eggman is able to like beat the shit out of people, like when he threw that guy out through the window and like grabbed Agent Stone by the face, and also beat the shit out of Tom.
Exactly. So I guess Eggman.
Yeah, I'd like to see if maybe like in Sonic 2 he's able to slap Sonic around, like.
Yeah, and Robotnik can run as fast as Sonic, so that requires some serious muscle power.
I want to see him do that in the movie. Like maybe he has rocket boots or something.
That'd be awesome. Yep. Who
Catch me now, sucker!
That'll be awesome. Yes. And it's great to see. What are their names again? Dacon and
Deco
and Boko.
Right, though, them actually taking control of a robot, because that's what I've been saying a lot about Orbot and Cuba. It's like, why don't they ever control a robot or pilot anything? That would be funny, just to have them as a boss fight. But hey, the sidekicks of Sonic X actually do that once, so that's kind of great. Even though then you get the boobs on the monkeys that you find so funny.
Yeah, I like to imagine whenever they finish a robot, Eggman goes, right, I want to see tits on that.
Exactly. Like the ninja on the
It was a
episode before.
big mammers.
Well, at least with this robot, they get the best seats in the house.
Exactly. I guess he's a little lonely. Poor Eggman. And they have this wonderful little running gag where the monkey is like pounding on its chest, which involves hitting the robots inside.
Yeah.
That was kind of neat detail. I like that.
One detail I have noticed is that the shape of the monkey robot's head looks very similar to Ai's head from Super Monkey Ball.
Oh, good point. The game was released at this time. Maybe it's just the anime way of drawing
yeah.
monkeys, but could be a reference. Of course, we didn't mention the scene where Sonic is running with a leopard. It's not super special, but it was kind of cute.
Cheetah, but
Oh,
yeah.
Cheetah, sorry.
Yeah, that was pretty great because like he's just running through the savannah, and like a cheetah starts keeping up with him, and he's excited about that because like everything else on this planet is really slow, and so he's able to like race this cheetah, and it's like having fun at first, and then Sonic picks it up and just goes really fast and traumatizes the poor cheetah. It's amazing.
It's sad, yeah.
It's kind of actually kind of like that scene in the movie where
Yeah.
Sonic picks up the turtle, except
Yeah.
the turtle seemed to have liked it.
It is comparable, yeah. The Japanese
Yeah.
added this joke there where all of a sudden there's a voiceover who said, "This is the first time a cheetah went Sonic Boom fast, or faster than the speed of light," except the English version.
Yeah, and there's a bit where the cheetah mentally talked to Sonic. So I don't know, he said something like, think you can challenge me or something?
All right, that's
Yeah.
also true, yeah.
Yeah, like he only talks to Sonic like telepathically in the Japanese version, while he's completely mute in the English dub.
Yeah, that's a good point. This episode really mixes up what that Sonic and friends really are like animals. Like they're much more directly compared, which I found kind of weird because I always thought they were more like aliens or more evolved versions. But this
Yeah.
episode really treats them as equals, which is kind of weird.
That kind of gives me an idea, like maybe like anthropomorphic characters like Sonic, like they talk normal, but when they interact with regular animals, they can only talk to them like telepathically or something.
Could be. Unfortunately, I don't think the show will ever explore that, but it does happen in that one sequence. So there you
Yeah.
go.
I think one of the
Well-
Sonic X comics did that, but I don't know. I have to look
really?
into that. Yeah, one of them.
Yeah, I believe there was one of the Sonic X comics where Chris shows Sonic an actual hedgehog,
Yeah,
and
he
Sonic
shows
asks
him a...
where its sneakers are.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. But yeah, like what I was talking about before, interrupting the poor captain. The whole plot about the dam was really funny to me because in the Japanese version, they never actually explained what their initial plan was. They were just randomly building a dam right in the middle of the desert. And they only went with the burning the jungle with flooding later on in desperation after Tails and Chris sabotaged everything. So we never actually know why they were actually doing it. It's just only in the American version, it did imply there was always...
I'm guessing it's like sneaky corporate stuff.
I guess so. They're just evil businessmen. And here's one way where the American version is kind of a better, or at least the story flows better, that they actually explicitly say they're in a nature preserve. So in that regard, it makes more sense. They immediately like confront him. In the Japanese version, they just randomly walk up any random construction site and just start yelling at the owners for no reason. It's like, hey, why are you building something? At least in a now it's a nature preserve, so it makes more sense. They're more protective against that.
Naturally, 4Kids had to make these guys Russian for some reason, just because.
To make it less
they-
threatening, I guess. In the Japanese version, they're much more threatening. They even
Yeah.
beat up Tails and Chris.
Mm.
You actually see
Evil
them
Soviet
knocked
stuff.
out and fall on the ground, which, of course, the 4Kids version deleted. We missed out on a moment where Chris got beaten up. Although I don't really
Yeah.
hate Chris.
I suppose
so
if they were Russian, they could have like built a place to like, I don't know, hide secret nuclear weapons or something.
Good point, good point. Maybe that's what they're doing. That's a very
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, sounding Russian in the English dub, yeah. Kind of makes you bum, like, yeah, it would have been hilarious if, like, Heavy from Team Fortress 2 was with them.
Oh, well, Team Fortress 2 wasn't... Did it exist in 2003?
Nope.
Yeah,
No.
I thought it did.
2007, I believe, is when it came out.
Ah.
Well-
Yeah, that would be a thing.
Team Fortress 2 was announced in 1999, I believe, but it was very different at that time. It didn't get its like
yes.
style until way into development.
All right, fair enough. So sadly, Melting Man, they couldn't make that reference. Very unlikely.
Oh well. At
Yeah,
least we still have.
I guess they just had to make them
AI.
Russian to make them less threatening because it is kind of intimidating. Them just walking up to a businessman, and again, the Japanese version plays it very straight. So I guess making them Russians gives it a comedic angle, I suppose, even though it's kind of insensitive towards Russian people. But oh well, it's the 2000s, so we didn't really care about that sort of thing yet. Yeah, this is the first time we actually see other Anthro characters other than Sonic. I was really surprised about that. I thought that was only in the deleted alternate opening that this happened, but in this episode we actually do get to see normal NPC Anthro characters.
Yeah, first time. Yeah.
Very briefly, but there they are. A monkey, a bear, and a fox.
Oh, I thought that was a badger for at first.
Oh, could be. I would say Marine's family member, but that's not right. She's from a different dimension.
Also, it's a funny idea, like how Sonic and Tails first met by Tails repainting Sonic's car, his plane, without asking first.
It's just a bit of a.
It's like, if someone starts repainting your car, you were like, "What the hell are you doing to my car?" Oh, okay. Do you want to be friends? Yeah. Funny enough, that's how Batman and Jason Todd first met, because Jason was trying to steal Batman's car wheels or something, and Batman's like, "What are you doing to my wheels?" He says, "Oh, I'm just stealing, just blowing your cobcast. You want to be my Robin? Okay."
Nice. Maybe that's what Tails was doing. He's like, he thought he was in a Grand Theft Auto game, and it's okay if I just repaint the vehicle, they don't know I stole it.
Yeah, and then of course, interesting thing, like the tornado that we first see is that it's all red and silver, kind of like its classic design, and then Tails gives it the blue paint job that we see in the adventure games, and of course we all know how I prefer the tornado with the blue and yellow paint job.
That would imply that even Sonic 2 never happened, or Sonic 2 the tornado's already blue in this version of the.
Also, we never see Sonic fly the plane, do we?
That's a good point. I was wondering about that too. Like, why does he randomly own a plane? It's such a Tails
Yeah,
thing.
like I mean, in the games, like if you decide to choose Tails as a playable character, then you see Sonic piloting the plane. But in terms of story, no, we never really see Sonic actually fly the plane.
Yeah, because I thought the plane always belonged to Tails.
Yeah, that's what I always thought too. So it's such a random detail. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is certainly weird, and
Sonic
it's
just-
like it's not like Wonder Woman in her plane, where like there is an actual canon explanation of why Wonder Woman has a plane. Sonic just owns a plane, and we accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never had his origin.
He
Oh,
probably
except in the movie.
Yeah. He probably just bought it just to try and look cool. Yeah, I got a plane. I'm so awesome.
It's kind of funny how everyone immediately thinks he's cool, even though he doesn't even do anything, just run fast. I guess if it
Well,
was...
what he was done. Well, he did, but he didn't do anything. Or did I?
It's especially funny in this episode because like Tails first sees Sonic running, stopping, sniffing the air, and then running away, and Tails is like, he's so cool.
Sniffing the air. Oh, so cool. Maybe it's really poisonous air and only cool people can survive. If he would do it, you go... Swamp air.
Exactly.
Yeah. In fact, Sylvia just pointed out in the picture that's being shown. Tails has 3 tails apparently in that screenshot.
Let me get it moment. Animation mistakes. I shouldn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, first Amy forgot to wear her panties in one episode, and now this happens.
A detail you'll never forget. Oh wait! It also happens in the screenshots I already had on screen, so I took this for nothing. Darn
Yeah,
it.
that's what I did.
I'm wasting
Yeah, that's what I
time.
did. The screen that's on screen. Yeah.
Inception.
Yeah. Inception, the floofy edition.
But yeah, this episode really felt like a Captain Planet episode. Like, even the villain's plan was so goofy about them setting the forest on fire and that would cause rains that would give their dam finally some use.
It's especially funny because, like, even Eggman fights against these guys, and, like, Eggman is also very much an industrial, like, anti-environmentalist character.
Even Eggman
So
has
y-
a problem with the commies.
So you would think, like, Eggman would, like, take over their operation, but no, they call him a weirdo, and he just fucking obliterates them.
That was very awesome. Yeah, I love it when villains randomly just interact with other characters, especially when they're other minor villains. It's always awesome. Robotnik was really cool in this episode, yeah. I didn't like the Japanese version because they were a little too breaking the fourth wall-esque, where he literally calls them minor characters, which is kind of like, I don't like that kind of humor. But yeah, the American version, they kept it fun. That was great.
Yeah, and then of course we can't talk about episode 18 without the whole like banana bit that he does near the end.
Oh, I didn't bring that in too. Guess I have to import that. What about the banana thing?
Oh, it's just something I felt like pointing out because that just sort of became I think that sort of became a meme. But yeah, it's just this weird scene where Robotnik's like, "Oh, I was just about to consume this delicious banana. Oh, tasty."
Is that this episode?
Yes, this episode.
I don't remember
Oh.
that, weirdly enough, even though I saw the
I
episode
think it
twice.
was.
Was it only in the Japanese version, maybe?
I don't remember seeing
No,
the
it's
Japanese.
No, it's definitely dubbed. I've seen the
Yeah,
scene.
it's in both. Yeah, it's in both versions. I don't know. Maybe it's in a different episode. I can't remember.
Maybe it was cut from the Netflix version because that's where I'm watching these. But
Probably.
I don't know.
Oh well, but yeah, he eats a banana. I mean, the ending was kind of random with making Bokan tap dance too. It is kind of fun to have this Dr. Eggman just be a sore loser. I love that when he's a little childish. That's great. Yeah, Eggman was pretty awesome in this episode. And threatening and funny and pretty intense. Good episode, yep.
And he beat the shit out of a bunch of crocodiles.
Absolutely. Oh, man,
Going
oh,
all
man.
Crocodile Dundee on them.
Or the character Luke wanted me to draw, like the Australian
Saxton
guy.
Hale!
That was my suggestion there. Yeah, Saxton Hale! I'll beat you to death with my damn bare hands.
There you go. And apparently I drew the crocodile behind him wrong, so now it looks like his ass cheeks are holding it. Not my
then
intention,
again,
but why not?
well, then again, that's probably something Saxton Hale would do, being so buff and
Hey, those are muscles too, so there you go.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty good episode. Are we gonna move to the next one?
Yep. Yeah, episode 20, but I think we should probably say why we're skipping over episode 19.
Yeah, we already did episode 19 before during our Halloween episode. It was the ghost episode, so we're moving one ahead. And I'm a little surprised I finally made a new skit. It's not super special, but we finally got one. So I guess we'll watch that first. Hope the volume isn't too loud.
It's a whale!
That's not a whale.
Thought you could take a pleasure cruise without me, eh? Well, think again.
There you go. Finally did a skit. Sorry I haven't been animating a lot lately. A bit of a crazy month. But yeah, episode 20. Does anyone want to do the synopsis for it?
I'll do it.
All right.
Okay, so, right, so once again, Chris and Sonic and the others are once again going on vacation to take a break from all the Chaos Emerald hunting and Robotnik fighting. So Chris's dad decides to put him on a cruise ship and take him to the Arctic glaciers to see all the glacier stuff. And of course, Sonic's really freaked out about this because he's stuck on the boat for 4 days surrounded by water, and of course, Sonic doesn't really like being on water. Eventually, he manages to talk Chris into calling his dad to like have a helicopter drop by, but then it turns out the helicopter is full of old people from a retirement home, in which Tanaka tells them like, "Oh, these people will tell you how to relax the right way or something," and it leaves poor Sonic behind. So, out of desperation, Sonic like desperately tries to manipulate Tails and Amy to get them off the boat, which of course that doesn't end up going well. And then of course Robotnik comes back and causes trouble with his new flying fortress. And Ella gets to have a spotlight in this episode, or a big finishing blow at the end. But yeah.
Yeah, that was really the big comedy episode. Man, the Japanese version really loved breaking the fourth wall here. It drove me insane.
Yeah, I was surprised when watching the Japanese dub. It's like, wow, I didn't know there was so much fourth wall breaking and meta humor in that version.
Yeah, it really surprised me. It's really irritating. I mean, at least it's better than Sonic Boom because this show has a lot more energy to it and a lot of more like straight comedy too. But yeah, no, all the talk about, hey, we are in a TV show. We didn't do anything for 2 weeks. Sonic, you have to be heroic because you're the main character of this show. Like, cringe. I hate that humor.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Sonic Boom, I remember one of your Q&A videos, someone asked you if that scene with Robotnik and his robots arguing about the name of the ship, and they asked you if that reminded you of something out of Sonic Boom, so I guess you'll have to update that question now.
Yeah, it is kind of like Sonic Boom. Except at least here they actually go into the process of how they're naming it or why they're naming it. Well, in Boom it's just random. Like, oh, I just gave it the wrong name for no reason because it's funny.
Yeah. So and then the Japanese version, it's more extended because after all they're arguing, Robotnik just puts together this lottery machine with lines like, okay, we've put this lottery machine, now we'll finally decide what the name of the ship is. Even though he's like slowly drawing in extra lines just so we can get his name picked out.
But yeah, this episode really is like a Sonic Boom episode. Except now, this is what I wish Sonic Boom was kind of like. I mean, it has that slow humor where everyone's just kind of bored on a boat. But it actually is the Sonic characters, and there's a lot more of that extreme humor as well. And that's what makes it funny. It's because those extreme action characters are bored, and it leads to all kinds of like surreal action moments, which Sonic Boom never really did. It always just stays in that everyone is just mundane and boring style, and never really went into more surreal locations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite episodes in terms of comedy. Although, yet again, I have to say the 4Kids version is my favorite, if only because they kind of drop all the fourth wall jokes constantly. Luke, you have any thoughts on this episode?
Well, it's funny like seeing Sonic freak out so much during this episode because he's surrounded by water and he's like getting cabin fever or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also there was a really funny bit when his old lady asks Tails to look at the clouds and suddenly he starts freaking out like the clouds are suddenly giving him Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah, that's such a random moment because they never actually explain why he's so freaked out.
The clouds killed my parents!
Is he missing his tornado or is just terrified of
Yes,
clouds?
he did freak out about his tornado because there was a bit where Sonic was actually like acting really devious and it was like manipulating all his friends to do stuff for him. Like he manipulated Amy to do something, like he acted like he was actually into her, and then he manipulated Tails to pine for the tornado. And then he tried to manipulate Chris and Chuck into like, oh, Amy's freaking out, and like.
And then illusion breaks. Captain, you want to say something?
But yeah, the whole bit with Tails and the tornado freaking out is kind of the way Sonic manipulates him. It's like, oh, machines have feelings too. And then Tails is like, oh, I've abandoned my poor creation.
It's funny. It's like they're talking about his old lover or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense for Tails to think like that on his machines. Yeah, a lot of happening this episode. I guess my favorite joke is with Cream and the old lady, and stuck in a conversation and never ends.
And also there was a very touching moment where Boken arrives at the house and finds there's no one there, but then it turns up and he was like crying and thought, oh, this is going to be a very wholesome moment, but then he ends up blowing up her face.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see that coming. and then at the very end, Boken freaking out and finds out that Ella was chasing after him on the X-Tornado, because I like to imagine she had previous experience in the RAF going full Top Gun on it.
Funny enough, there is a interesting way of how they explain how Ella pilots the tornado. Like in the English dub, it's just this typical joke like, "Oh, she could do anything she sets her mind to, except doing windows." While in the Japanese version, Chuck just blatantly says, "Oh, I was bored one day, so I taught her how to fly the plane."
I love that idea that Chuck is bored and just grabs a random person from the street. I'm going to show you how to fly this fighting plane.
He probably uses people in his experiments. And the blood
I don't know.
we need another Timmy!
I kind of like the English explanation a little bit better because it just means that she's so angry that she just figured out how to fly this plane on pure instinct, and she like even transforms it midair and does like a diving kick on Eggman's fortress, the Egg Fort 2.
Yeah. Cyclone
It's-
kick.
Both explanations are funny. Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, so I have to
there's-
get... Sorry, yeah.
There's also this weird scene at the beginning. I just sorry to derail, but like the first day they're there, and Chuck in the English dub he's taken seasick pills, and to help with his seasickness, and then he like passes out immediately. It's
He starts
very
laughing
obvious
first.
that
Yeah.
it's very obvious he's supposed to be drunk.
Yep.
Yeah, in the Japanese version, they clearly state that he's had a little too much to drink.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, your seasickness makes him laugh and sleep immediately. Logical.
Yeah, the English stuff they just changed to, oh, you remember to take your meds, Grandpa? Oh, don't worry, I'm fine, haha.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I did find it a bit weird in the beginning where the Egg Fortress somehow ended up in the ocean, even though we saw it crash in the previous episode, unless he has actually repaired it and managed to crash it again into the sea.
That's a good
Yeah.
point, yeah.
Because it's
Yeah, I'm
already
not
been
sure.
underwater, and now it's underwater again.
Maybe that's just his way how to keep himself secret, to stay away from the military.
I also do like
Yeah.
how the new one kind of resembles the Starship Enterprise.
Oh, yeah. But, one thing I want to point out is at the beginning with Robotnik and his robots. So, like, in the English dub, they say, like, oh, Deco and Boko, make sure those repairs are done in the engine. So they do, and it doesn't go well. And then, of course, in the Japanese version, they do a fourth wall breaks, like, oh, this show's all about me, And then it's kind of interesting, because in the Japanese version, it's actually implied that Robotnik was the one doing all the repairs on his engine. And then when it fails, Deco is like, oh, Doctor, did you fail to repair all the engines? And he's like, do you dare doubt my brilliance? Yeah, fine, even I make mistakes. Meh. I just kind of find it funny how in the Japanese version it's implied that Robotnik did all the engine work and not the robots.
Definitely. Hey, I just noticed a little detail in the lobby and the boat. You actually see a picture of the Titanic behind them, I think, which is funny since they're going to an iceberg themselves in this episode. It's kind of a dark.
Oh yeah, I
image.
saw that.
I mean, I'm not sure. I think the Titanic had 4 chimneys instead of 3, but still, it really resembles the boat. That's a nice little dark touch.
But I actually have a question for those of you that actually watched the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Luke brought up earlier that the Egg Fort 2 looks like the Enterprise, and like after like that happens, Eggman starts getting phone calls. I feel like that would have been the time that like Eggman was like getting called from lawyers from Star Trek.
Unfortunately, no. It was another
Darn.
show.
No, it was the audience complaining, like, no, it's too slow, you're too slow.
Yeah, well, like in the English dub, it's not really stayed out, but I kind of imagine that it's just Deco and Boko calling Robotnik, still complaining about the name of this ship. In the Japanese version, there's an extended. Yeah, in the Japanese version, there's this extra scene where the ship is the parts are being formed together into this one ship, but it's like way in the distance, and you see these 3 dots form into this 1 dot, and then Robotnik getting phone calls from like the audience people that are watching the show, like, "What? The scene was too tiny. Redo the whole sequence." Well, fine. Get a bigger
TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was more 4-wall joke. No, they don't make any references to Star Trek, weirdly enough.
Darn.
It's just random.
I think that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's a shame, right? Because usually when they actually...
I was watching that scene, and like he gets phone calls and he's like angrily yelling at the telephone. And I'm like, was that like him in the Japanese version? Was that him like getting threatened by lawyers or something?
Would have been funny,
But-
alas, no.
Yeah.
Well, he did get away with one of his machines based on Thunderbirds 2.
Yeah, and Gundam. And,
Right, yeah.
and the Ninja Girl from last time was also a reference, I think. So he should be getting a lot of calls from lawyers.
Eggman's just incredibly uncreative.
Well, there's a death egg.
He's just a giant nerd. He just copies everything
Yeah.
from television.
Nah, I think he just read a lot of Archie Sonic comics by Ken Penders, because during his time, he definitely had a tendency to just shove in a lot of Star Wars and Star Trek references. Like, oh, here's Knuckles' stepfather dressed as Darth Vader. Oh, here's Nick the Weasel piloting the Millennium Falcon.
I do remember an issue, I think it was Sonic Universe, where Eggman had his own version of the Attack Walkers.
Oh yeah, the egg camels. Yeah, they're modeled off of those robots from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh,
I gotta
well.
look into that.
Not like we're not guilty of constantly making references ourselves. We're just as guilty.
Which I guess brings into the next topic. So like the whole scene with Cream and the old lady talking to each other, and they're just going in circles. Interestingly enough, in the Japanese version, Cream mentions that they come from Green Hill Zone. I find that weird that it's only in the Japanese version. They never state Sonic's homeworld name in the English dub.
Are you sure that they're referring to their planet or just a place? I mean, they just say a place called Green Hill. I thought it was just referring to the village and not their planet. That'd be a scary thought if their entire planet was called Green Hill. That means every single level in every Sonic game is a Green Hill Zone, basically. Well, except the ones that take place in space in a different dimension, I guess.
Yeah. I guess they must have traveled into the future and watched that whole comedy skit that Luke did in the say 2020 Dissected episode. Yeah. The entire planet's turned into Green Hill Zone. Oh, the humanity!
Yeah, I guess we were right. Oh, well, at least it doesn't look like Green Hill Zone in this one. So, but yeah, it's weird. So far, we didn't get any classic Sonic references, and now we get a classic Tornado and Green Hill.
Well, there was also the crab character that sort of looked like a crab meat.
Yeah, so I guess I do have some minor references to classic games.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there's the whole fiasco of them what to name. Eggman and the robots trying to name their machines, and decided like, oh, let's do like a random vote thing.
Yeah, that was in the Japanese version. Like, all right, let's do this lottery thing, and Robotnik is like drawing more lines just so we can get his vote.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Didn't mind the
I probably would have called them Larry, Curly, and Moe.
yeah, that would have been hilarious.
Well, they did make a lot of references with their names. Yeah, Captain, you said something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm just like going off of Luke's idea. That would make Eggman's ship Mo. The yellow one's ship would be Larry, and the gray one's ship would be Curly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess Bo Kun is Shemp.
What gang, huh?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, yeah. Only Shemp because only Shemp because no one cares about Joe or Curly Joe.
I care about Curly Joe,
Yeah, I
but
think
nobody
Curly
cares
Joe's-
about Joe.
Yeah, I'm okay with Curly Joe. He's just kind of like Diet Curly. But yeah, Joe Besser, yeah, not really cut out for the Stooges. He's fine in other works, just not in violent slapstick.
I'm more a Buster Keaton guy. But yeah, this Sonic X episode. Anything else you want to mention?
I
Yeah,
probably would have mentioned something. It's a bit of an animation goof, but when you see Eggman and the two robots together with their faces closed up, I think Eggman's moustache disappeared for a second.
Oh, I
I must
didn't
have
notice
missed
that. Okay. Poor Eggman. Oh, and I have to apologize to Sonic X. I think last stream I said that the show had big problems with all their subplots really coming together satisfyingly. This episode really did a good job on that. I mean, it did have a lot of random things with the old people showing up on the ship, and again, Bo-kun having to fight with Ella, but all of those things actually did come together in the climax, so I was very impressed by that. So it was a very well-written episode.
Yeah, it's nice.
There was this moment I kind of wanted to talk about, and it's where like everyone's worried about Sonic, so Amy starts giving him this motivational speech, where she says like, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the facing of it." And it was actually a really wholesome moment, and unfortunately, it didn't work because Sonic like took 5 steps and collapsed.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that speech, yeah. It's so weird. And, like, in the Japanese version, it's extremely meta, where Amy kind of has, like, a similar speech, but then half of it is just like, oh, Sonic, you're the star of the show, and you're the reason why Sonic X is put together. And then, of course, there's the TV ratings and the merchandising, and I'm just like, this sounds more like something that would come out of Chowder from Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it was very fourth wall breaking, this episode in the Japanese version. Yeah, it's very irritating. Oh well.
But funny enough, I feel like that would be more justification for Amy assuming that she overwhelmed Sonic. Because, like, that's what she says when Sonic collapses is, I think I overwhelmed him.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
She does say that. But then you would wonder if she's really concerned about the TV show and the ratings and all that. Why would they go on a vacation on the ship to do nothing anyway? Wouldn't that be more damage to a TV show? She should be grateful Sonic is stressed, so there's at least something happening this episode. Oh well,
Yeah.
I'm overthinking it. And now we're
Yeah,
nerding
I don't
out
know, it seems
over-
like I don't know, I guess with here in the Japanese version, it's like, yeah, I know they tend to break up the fourth wall a lot, which is weird considering how the English dub never does that or rarely does that. But I know, it's like with the fourth wall jokes, like sometimes I like when they're like quick snappy comebacks, like the whole deal with Robotnik and his robots. But then the whole Amy speech kind of drags on a bit. Like, I don't know, like if something like that was in Chowder, I'd be fine with that because the world of Chowder and the characters are like really wacky and crazy that them breaking the fourth wall occasionally just feels natural. Here it just kind of feels a bit off that they drag it out like that.
Also, I don't know, we keep whining about how the Japanese American version is different. How are you boring everyone with that? But yeah, one detail I found interesting is the speech at the end. By the end, the old people give Sonic a speech, and in the Japanese version, it's much more depthful and complex, where she's kind of talking about, oh, your entire life, your body is strong, but when you get old, your body is failing you, so you have more time to think. So it was a lot more like kind of depressing, somber speech. Well, in the English version, it's a lot more just generic. Sometimes you just need to relax. I found it kind of interesting.
Yeah, like the Japanese version is more deep, while the English dub's kind of more just,
Just
as you
generic.
get older, you get to enjoy the smaller things in life, that kind of thing.
She didn't even say that. She just said some generic, oh, you just need to enjoy yourself. Like, oh, okay. Well, the Japanese was
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot more depressing, I guess.
That's another thing that really caught me off guard with that whole episode. Like, you know, Sonic's being tossed around, and then you hear the old lady who's like in the captain's room talking to the mic, and the freaking captains are just standing there. Like, they're not like, "Hey, get out of here! This is captain's quarters."
Well, all the humans are always useless in this show anyway, especially authority figures.
Yeah,
I mean,
so yeah.
when Sonic falls off the ship and is presumably drowning, they're just making a joke. Oh, he jumped further. He's breaking his own record.
Oh, just usual stuff. He's throwing himself off the bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah, I actually love that scene because like Sonic's trying to use the geometry of the ship as a ramp to launch himself all the way to shore, and the frickin' captain and vice captain are just watching and taking notes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a funny scene. I didn't say it wasn't funny. It's great.
I guess they're doing a good job of rescuing him because he tried several times apparently.
Yeah, good job keeping up with him, considering he did launch himself pretty far.
Well, maybe instead of like saving them, maybe Sonic just ran to the ship because I'm sure he must be like fast enough to run on water, which kind of adds in another plot hole. Like, why doesn't just Sonic just jump off the ship and run? Because
Or bounce like a pedal. Who knows? I guess it's too
Or
deep
one
here.
in water.
yeah,
Underwater.
run on water.
Oh well, then we wouldn't have an episode. I mean, I guess they're lucky Sonic always launches himself from the front of the ship. If he constantly used a different angle, the ship constantly would have to turn around to get him back. Then it would take
Yeah.
even longer for them to get to the destination.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we're finished with this episode.
And yeah, I had a whole list of stuff I wanted to notice, and yeah, I pretty much talked about everything.
That's good to hear. Captain Luke, you ready to go to the last episode?
Yes, the episode of the race where Sam Speed bothers the Ford Dykes and Sonic's friends at 3 a.m. to challenge Sonic for a race. Sonic is like, no, go away. So, but because everyone is apparently is in on about this race except them, including the president and his aide, who I like to call douchebag McGee, because he's really riding on this because he's hoping that the president would hug Sonic, and if Sonic doesn't turn up, this might ruin the president's reputation for the next election. So he decides to secretly convince Eggman to get Sonic to run in the race, and in return, he get a lot of cream puffs or something. So Eggman makes this giant sumo robot thing, which I think he threatens Sonic with. I completely forgot what a bit about that bit, but Sonic says, "All right, fine, I'll race, maybe to keep you happy." So they do the race with Sam and Sonic trying to outdo each other, including a really clever bit where Sam tries to tell Sonic to stand a bit behind him, which he has an ejector thing in, and Eggman says, "Oh, I might keep a note of that."
Yeah,
And,
I love that one. That was great.
Yeah, then the sumo robot tries to intervene, but that they just ignore it. So the sumo was like, "Right, fine, I'll punch myself then." So, they do manage to get to the finish line, which apparently was a tie, but it looks like Sonic was so fast, he was faster than the actual camera, and he managed to cross the finish line, messed around with the camera, and then he got back into the line and crossed the finish line. And you get to see Sam Speed's soul-crushing face, and being as the president wasn't there, douchebag McGee was like, "Oh, great, he's not there. But what if I do it? That means I could run for president." But then, as he was about to shake hands with Sonic, gets a phone call saying that he's secretly being. They found out he's been secretly been colluding with Eggman. He's now been fired. The end.
Pretty much. Poor douchebag McG.
Or Boris.
So,
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's call him Boris. I don't think he has
a
an
minor
official
correction.
name. Yeah.
A minor correction. The robot that Eggman gets to convince Sonic to join the race is a giant kissing robot.
Oh yes, the kissing robot. Yes.
Yeah, that weird
He
thing.
made a robot that made the kiss people.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Although I think he probably would have used it for other purposes. Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah, first Robotnik builds sex robots. Now he builds robots for his smooching fetishes.
Or, well, something else.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So a couple of
On that egg.
weird details in this episode is, so the government is the one that built this rocket engine that Sam has in his car, and it apparently cost $1 billion. And they've decided that they are going to make their money back with this race. And instead of doing it like the actual normal way that you would do that by like advertising, getting advertisers to sponsor the race, they instead just hope that taxpayers will support it.
Well, there is the Sonic tax.
The best part is they never learn anything from the last episode. I mean, didn't the last time, with the dinner in the Helen episode, where they waited for the last minute just to invite Sonic and he didn't cooperate? And now here they go through it all again, so they didn't learn anything from that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the A was like, right, I'm going to send out the army again.
Yeah.
And when Sonic inevitably does decline the offer to race, douchebag McGee starts panicking that this will cause the president to be impeached. That is not how that works. So yeah, I don't think douchebag McGee seems to understand government process at all.
Good thing he got fired then.
Yeah.
Poor Boris.
Maybe he thought it was a work event.
Yeah, let's just
'Cause
go.
they don't
Boris.
understand-
He doesn't know anything about governing either, right?
Because they don't know how impeachment works and they don't know how taxes work.
Or how to organize a race.
I'm the government. I'm the reason nothing works.
So yeah, this whole race was to prove that this rocket was supposed to be faster than Sonic. But at several points throughout the race, Sonic gets like delayed or detoured and still catches up to it. I feel like that's the answer.
And he had to cheat a lot of time, like when he had to open all the doors in the city.
Yeah, exactly. And
Which
Sonic
is funny,
still
so
kept
they
up
have
with it.
build up all these buildings just for Sam Speed to go through. Like, I'm surprised how much power he has, even though it's a completely useless job. But like all those office buildings were just more than happy to sacrifice several floors just so Sam has a shortcut, I guess.
It's so stupid. Like, Sam keeps saying, like, oh, I'm gonna prove I'm the fastest in the world, but like, he's in a car that he didn't build, racing against a rodent on foot.
And then he still has to cheat.
And he still has to cheat. And Sonic is still catching up and like surpassing him at times. This is not a contest. Sonic is faster.
And yet he still has a giant ego about it. Poor Sam.
Even if Sam did cross the finish line first, Sonic is still faster.
Pretty much, yep.
Oh, I was about to say that there was a bit where Sonic was pointing out that Sam's car apparently looks like it's hovering, but it's like, oh, it doesn't count. Looks like you're flying. But so it's like, check the wheels, and it's like he's got tiny little toy car wheels on the under it.
Yeah, or airplane wheels. So
Yeah, it looks more like airplane wheels. And then
clearly
that was a weird scene because that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I was expecting more of a joke. Yeah, I guess just the type of wheels is a joke. Like it's airplane wheels, so I guess that implicates they're useless or just there for landing, which kind of still proves Sonic's point. Yeah.
Yeah, but then this the scene at the end where Sonic like messes with Sam by like going over the finish line, like waving to the camera, and then joining the race to make it a photo finish. That's awesome. I just love that.
One missed opportunity. I was expecting because at one point you see him jump toward the camera, so I was expecting another classic Sonic reference, like the ending of Sonic 2, but he had a different pose. So I guess that's a bit of a missed opportunity. Would have been funny if he did like the Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 pose at that point. But yeah, the joke itself was great. Absolutely.
The pose itself kind of looks like or when he's jumping anyway, it kind of looks like when he jumps off the screen in Sonic CD.
Oh right, yeah, because it did look familiar. That pose.
Or the intro to Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah, that's why I was expecting like an actual full blown reference, but it's only the jump animation looked like that. Like as soon as he does the full pose, it's just a different one. Oh well.
But yeah, as Rhino pointed out in the comments, everything I just said about Sam Speed could also be said about Jet the Hawk.
Pretty much, yeah. Or even Shadow with his roller skate shoes.
Yep.
Ouch. Which means the only one who actually can keep up with Sonic with her own power is Amy.
Or Scourge.
Or Scourge, sure.
Yeah, but Scourge isn't canon.
Well, in Archie Sonic canon, but yeah. I'm the only one that reads Archie Sonic.
Also,
apparently.
movie Sonic, movie Eggman with the quill.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it'd be interesting, like, so Eggman, in the movie, Eggman has Sonic's quill now, and he's allied himself with Knuckles, so maybe Knuckles would willingly give him one of his quills, and we have this, like, Super Eggman.
Ooh, that would be intense. It reminds me of one of those fan games where Eggman turns super
I like
himself.
I think one idea I have is that he's also managed to get one of Tails' quills, and he combines all three quills into a metal shell, which would be Metal Sonic.
Oh my, that would be cool. Who knows what they'll do?
Well, that's assuming Tails also has a power like Sonic and Knuckles do.
He kind of did at the end, where you could see him like zipping around with his flight.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does.
But of course, Tails doesn't have quills, so that's a problem.
Yeah, that's for a couple months waiting.
So
April was some release date.
Yeah, April. So until then, the only time we've had a Super Robotnik is the fan-made game Eggman Hates Furries. I think that's
that's the one, yeah. Where Eggman used emeralds on himself and turned super and became like a super bodybuilder. That was awesome.
I remember doing one of my own Super Robotnik ideas, but that one was kind of more played up for comedy.
Fair enough.
It was more of a crossover of Sonic the Hedgehog meets random characters from Tom's Terrifying Tales from the Toaster. It's really best stuff audio series. yeah.
It's kind of weird to see some modern Sonic with the wheel of feet. Those classic Sonic you saw all the time in the American show. The Japanese never really draw him. In this episode, you do see him with this weird wheel of feet, but in the Japanese version, it looks really weird. Like he just doesn't have feet at all. I don't like the look of that thing.
Yeah, I don't really like it when Sonic has like the wheel feet, like, or not just the wheel feet, but like the spinny legs, like he does in Sonic Advance 1 or Sonic Mania.
Oh, really? In the games, I do like it, and in the classic cartoons, say at the Adventure Sonic Tactical. Only
I'm fine with like the red ring of feet, but like when like you can see a swirl of blue in the middle, it looks weird.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it does make me curious on what you guys think about the super peel out and how that looks. You know, that move that he.
It kind of looked like a figure eight thing. I thought that was alright.
Oh yeah, the
It
rubber band legs. That's what I always thought about it.
it doesn't make any sense, but I like it.
Yeah, I always liked it. It looks instinctively good, even though it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, like if you watch it in Smash because it's a side taunt, it becomes very obvious that like something is wrong with the running animation because like he's kicking his feet in both directions at the same time, so he shouldn't be able to go forward while doing that.
Yeah.
Though I suppose like real running does have a slight figure eight to your feet, but like the front part will never hit the ground.
Fair enough. Then again, as artists, I always work more with instinct than what's logical possible. I mean, it's a cartoon by the end of the day, so it just has to look natural more than it actually being natural, if that makes sense.
Yeah, again, it doesn't make sense, but it looks cool. I like it.
Yeah, and that's the law of
Yeah.
cartoons, I guess. As long as it looks cool. Because reality looks too boring. I can't find the Wheel of Feet with Sonic Advance sprites. Wasn't Sonic Advance 3 or 2? Oh, 2 probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I think
too.
it was. I think it was 1. It definitely wasn't 3.
Hmm.
Time for me to be honest. I've only played Advance 3. I haven't played Advance 1 or 2.
Blasphemy!
Yeah.
So I know.
Yes. Yeah,
I
same
hear Advance
here.
3 is the worst one. So
But yeah, same here. I've only played Advance 3. I did get Advance 1 and 2 eventually. I just haven't gotten around to playing them.
Get out of this chat, you two.
Yeah, I've got
But-
all three, but I don't think I've ever gotten all the emeralds because the special stages can be pretty difficult. I think the second one is probably the only one I never got to a special stage to because the requirements was like way too difficult to do.
Yeah, I never beat them 100% either with the Gale's Emeralds. I just beat them normally.
Yeah,
Don't wanna
and of
bother
course,
too
the
much.
other frustrating thing about the Advance series is that they've never been bothered in being ported anywhere. Well, okay, they have been ported onto the Wii U eShop in Japan, not in the US or Europe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give up looking for the sprite. I can't find it. But yeah, well, I remember it. So I liked it how it looked in Advance, but I guess that's just me.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious in playing the first Sonic Advance one. The version I have is one of those double packs where it comes with that and Sonic Pinball Party, which is a really obscure title. But I've heard Advance 1 kind of like recycles elements from the past Genesis games, like, oh, here's Neo Green Hill Zone or something like that.
Sonic Advance 1 is kind of weird in that it feels like a remake of the Neo Geo Sonic game, and that itself was a weird mix between Sonic 2 and 3.
Oh yeah, Sonic Pocket Adventure, where they just
Yeah.
remade the Genesis levels but used the modern designs of Sonic and Robotnik.
Yeah, so that's always the impression I got. So you first had the Neo Geo Pocket one, which again just had Sonic 2 zones with Sonic 3 music. And then for some reason Sonic Advance kind of remade those, but then made it more original looking. So then Chemical Plant Zone turned into Secret Base. Yeah, that's my personal theory. I don't know if that's really how that happened, but they really
Yeah.
resemble a lot. And both having Neo Geo Green Hill Zone and all that.
Yeah, I could kind of see it. Like, yeah, Advance 1 is a remake of the Neo Geo game, because, well, not a lot of people had a Neo Geo Pocket Color thingy. I didn't know anything about Neo Geo until years later.
Yep, same here. Yeah, it's mostly known for fighter games, so if you don't care about the Street Fighter type games.
Also, it was a pretty expensive console, wasn't it?
Yep, very expensive. I only care for it about Metal Slug.
Yeah.
I've only played the Steam version of Metal Slug.
Blasphemy. I guess.
Well, I'm sure it's the same as the original or something.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
I think for me, the third
It's
one is
just
the
more
best.
affordable.
I think for me, Metal Slug 3 is the best one because you get there's a level where you get to be a zombie, where you blast like a huge torrent of blood that kills everything, and also it has a really, very long final level where you're involving an alien invasion.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I don't like Metal Gear Solid. For Metal Slug 3, because the final level goes on a little too long for my taste.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very epic. Yeah, I don't know what my favorite is. I think the first one because it's more simple and straightforward. It's just a shame that the girl characters aren't playable there. Awesome music, but yeah, you want to talk about Metal Slug and see how often I accidentally call it Metal Gear Solid?
Well, at least you're not calling it Metal Gear Solid, which is like the escape version of Metal Gear Solid.
All those names, struggling with.
Roger, what are your thoughts on the main characters from Metal Slug being playable in King of Fighters?
Pretty awesome. I mean, King of Fighters characters were playable in Metal Slug itself, so it does feel kind of like them returning. Although they don't really feel like they should be fighting characters, because usually in their games you just kill everyone in one hit, so it's kind of weird for them to not to be able to do that. It feels off. Kind of reminds you of some Asterix and Obelix games where it takes some more punches to hit a Roman. Well, in the cartoon they always hit them in one punch. The original One Punch Man shouldn't take more than one hit. But I didn't even know they were actually in a fighting game, so I should look that up.
Oh yeah, they're recurring characters in the King of Fighters series.
Oh, really? I did not know. I'm not really a fighter guy, so I don't play those games very often.
Yeah, I'm not much into fighters either. Well, more specifically, I'm not into those fighting games where you have to do like 12,000 different button combinations just to pull off one move. Yeah, I'm more of a Smash Bros. Guy.
Yeah, I'm also a bit of a fan of Soul Calibur because of how you get to use melee weapons, and of course, my favorite one has to be the GameCube version of Soul Calibur 2 because of Link being in it.
Oh yeah, he's in that game.
And also, I've got the Xbox version of Soul Calibur 4 because you can play as Darth Vader and Yoda in it.
Soul Calibur 2 is the game that inspired me to make that old Flash cartoon where Link can't talk except yell. Because it's Soul Calibur 2, when you go into the character select... Was
that the one where you went to school?
Yeah, that one. That was inspired by Soul Calibur, because in that game you had like a gallery where you could hear all
I remember it when he goes
you could go to the gallery to listen to all their voice lines, and all the other characters.
Oh, that was like the Hyrulean language.
Yeah.
Everyone speaks like that. Including Zelda.
It was so funny to me, yeah. Soul Calibur, great game. But yeah, my favorite is Dead or Alive, mostly because you can kick people through walls. I love that. You can kick people off cliffs and all that. I love interactivity with the levels.
Yeah, I think I've got Dead or Alive Ultimate, so it's pretty funny. Like seeing kick someone off a platform, and suddenly it transitions to another fighting area.
All right,
interesting. I know my sister used to play some Soul Calibur 2 on GameCube. Yeah, I have no experience with the Soul Calibur games. I know about the weird random cameo or guest characters like Link in one game and Darth Vader in another game.
Fair enough.
My favorite part of Soul Calibur is character creation.
That's only from the third game on, I think, yeah.
Yes, that is correct. 3 onwards has character creation. And it's been pretty good ever since 3. Like, it's weird because usually character creation starts off pretty bad but gets better. But it started off pretty good. In 3, you could, like, recreate almost perfectly Zero from Mega Man X.
Oh, really?
And it's pretty impressive, actually. I actually made a human version of Rouge.
Okay.
And, like... Yeah, it's pretty good. I love... There's, like, an entire, like, subreddit to... character creators in Soul Calibur. Pretty good.
I've seen someone make a Ronald McDonald's, apparently, in Soul Calibur. I found a screenshot of it.
Yeah, and a Colonel Sanders one.
I do remember seeing someone making Phoenix Wright in that game as well.
Yeah, kind of ironic, because I think Phoenix Wright actually did appear in a fighting game. What was it, like...
Marvel vs.
Marvel vs. Yeah, that one.
Specifically, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And he is an incredibly powerful character. He's so fun to watch. If you want to see good Phoenix Wright gameplay, check out Lythero, who, fun fact, is the guy who made the Chaos Swiss Roll joke from Sonic Paradox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just happens to be really good at playing Phoenix Wright in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Multi-talented. That was nice.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
But yeah, fighting games. I don't play them too often. I usually just kind of dick around for a couple days and then I'm kind of done with it. They're fun, but I don't want to need to master them or anything. Yeah, anything else you want to talk about? Melting Man, you wanted to talk about the new upcoming Sonic Forces battle characters?
Um, oh yeah, like the new costumes that have been coming out. I kind of figured, maybe we could talk about like I don't know that, or just costumes in general for Sonic that have appeared in the mobile games or Sonic Adventure 2 and such. Because yeah, they recently announced that Omega is getting a new skin, and he's dressed up like a football player now.
It looks so cool.
He looks intense, yeah. You don't want to have him running towards you on the field.
Yeah, it looks cool, but also kind of weird at the same time because there's so much green, and I don't know. When it comes to Omega, like green is kind of the last thing that comes to my mind. He's always, red and black. I don't know. I could picture him in yellow, maybe, but I don't know. Green is very different.
Maybe he's just a huge fan of the New York Jets or the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh yeah, of course. My joke behind it is, you just watched that whole meme from the Super Mario World cartoon. Yeah. Hey Mario, look what I made! It's a stone, Luigi. You didn't make it. It's a football. I chiseled it.
It's even regulation. Wait, no. Damn it. No.
I messed
I messed up the joke.
You done goofed up. You fool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool they're doing new stuff with the IDW characters too. Or at least Whisper getting a new costume.
Yeah. Lucky Whisper. Looks really cool.
Yeah.
I hope Tangle gets a new costume.
Oh yeah. I wonder what kind of costume Tangle would have.
Also,
I don't know.
New Year's Eve themed. Who knows?
Yeah, it's kind of weird that it's a New Year's themed, except this year is Year of the Tiger, and Whisper's a wolf, not a tiger.
Well, she does have a cat mask on it. That's almost tiger-esque, I guess? Question mark.
Yeah, that's a Tiger
yeah,
mask,
I
I
can see
think.
that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
It's weird that it says Soldier of Fortune, but the costume itself is called Lucky Whisper.
Huh. Funny.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the name of the event. I don't know. I haven't really looked too far into it. I've gotten progress on unlocking her, but
Yeah, I'm making some progress with unlocking her in Dash, because, yeah, I recently found out that the costume is available in Sonic Dash.
Either way, yeah, I kind of like how the costumes work in Sonic Forces, because so far I always hated when they give Sonic characters costumes, because they tend to give them like weird science fiction outfits all the time that look really stupid. I hated most of Sonic Forces costumes as well. They also had all these weird science fiction things. I mean, I guess Sonic Team is still really into Phantasy Star. I mean, that's their big custom characterization game, so I guess it's supposed to be kind of like that. Fantasy Star.
That's weird. I don't recall Sonic characters in that many science fiction-y inspired outfits. I know there's like a race car outfit for Sonic and others.
Well, Sonic Avenger 2, look at their weird outfits, like the weird space uniforms.
Oh yeah, the Dreamcast version, because yeah, the GameCube version has completely different costumes, like Rouge dressed up in a dominatrix outfit and others.
Alright, but yeah, most of the Avatar characters also look kind of science fiction-y to me. Although, when I was looking for an example, I couldn't find any, so maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Oh well. Or maybe people hate science fiction costumes as much as I do, so nobody ever used them. Who knows?
And I remember the Sonic Rival, specifically Sonic Rivals 2, had Sonic characters in different outfits, and they're kind of interesting. Like, there's Knuckles dressed up as Robotnik, and Metal Sonic unlocks some different skins, especially Metal Sonic 3.0. The one that surprised me was the ninja outfit for Rouge. It's like, the ninja outfit from Sonic X. Nice. Ninja Rouge is
pretty close. It's got some slight differences from the Sonic X version, but yeah.
Yeah.
Also, SBO had a mummy costume, which looked kind of funny. I do remember that the Eggman Knuckles costume was specifically one of the ones I could not unlock because every character has 4 alternate costumes you can get, and they all have the same unlocking conditions. One of them is to win a certain amount of races with that character in multiplayer. And I had nobody to play with, so everyone had only 3 costumes unlocked. And unfortunately for Knuckles, it was the Eggman one that I really wanted.
Yeah, that really sucks. But yeah, SBO dressed up as a mummy. Okay, someone needs to make fan art of that. Yeah, Mummy SBO with Mummy Rouge from IDW Sonic.
I'm sure it exists somewhere. But yeah,
That
yet
needs to
again,
happen.
Sonic has
Oh, and they
several-
both have ninja costumes too, so...
yeah.
Oh no, we've just discovered a new ship.
Yeah. Next time on our Valentine's-themed live stream, ships. Rouge and Espio, are they destined to date?
Wait a minute, is our next
Oh,
live
gosh.
stream close to Valentine's Day?
Let's see.
No,
I don't know.
no,
maybe.
not-
February 12th is the closest Saturday to Valentine's Day this year.
And it's not on a live stream day, so we don't have a
Nope.
Valentine theme.
It's between 2 live stream days, so darn.
So we
got
can't
No
progress-
Valentine's Day episode.
We can't declare our love toward another.
Yeah. Can't declare our love to our Sonic Sonic characters or whatever.
But yeah, I liked these costumes in Sonic Rivals. I wish that's what the customization was like in Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Yeah,
But
that's
nope.
kind of yeah, I really wish some of those old costumes were brought back in future games, like the Arrivals costumes and the Adventure 2 costumes, both the GameCube and Dreamcast versions.
I'm surprised Sonic
Yeah.
had like a tuxedo outfit in Rivals. I didn't know that. James Bond
Yeah.
Sonic. That's awesome.
It's pretty cool. I like the ice one because I really like
yes.
ice themed characters, and I really like Sonic. So seeing Sonic with ice themed going on, really cool. That was also my go-to in Sonic Colors Ultimate, was just to give him ice aura and ice boost.
Mm-hmm.
Random.
Yeah.
I don't care about ice. Sorry. No ice baby for me.
It
actually just-
ice for you.
It actually started out coincidentally that I just happened to like a bunch of characters with ice powers, and then I just started liking ice powers in general. So
Yeah, that is funny. Because I remember when I was young, back when the original Bionicle figures were a thing, I remember I was a big fan of Kopaka, the ice-themed one. I don't know why, I just thought he looked cool.
Is that a pun? Cool.
Yeah, pun intended.
oh yeah, now that Tails costumes are on screen, we can see his pilot costume, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
And like
Man,
a
looks like
school
it's,
uniform or something? Like a British school uniform here?
No, it's a pilot uniform,
Oh, that's the pilot uniform.
like
Okay.
an airline pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and then you have Tails dressed up as a tiger. I think a regular tiger and a white tiger, now that I look at it.
No, I think the one on the left is his race costume. Everyone no, that definitely has tiger stripes on it.
Yeah. Especially the way the shoes are designed, at least for the red one. They're kind of more paw designed, while the white one's just kind of regular sneakers.
Yeah. God, Sonic Rivals is good. I wish that got more sequels.
Yeah, or at least re-released onto other things, and not just being one of the many Sonic games that Sega likes to pretend never happened.
I really liked Rouge's race outfit because it kind of gives off Sonic Riders vibes, even though it's slightly different.
Yeah, it's cool.
Someone asked in the chat if I want to talk about the Sonic Riders prototype designs, but I have no idea what that is. I have to look that up quickly. Does any of you know about that?
Nope, never heard of it.
First time hearing of it.
I don't think I've heard of that. It's probably referring to some concept art, now that I think about it.
Well, there were a lot of prototype games for the PlayStation 2 released recently, so maybe something was up with that. I'm going to the cutting room floor now website. There should be something.
And I think I found the image he was talking about.
Yeah, you're gonna give it to us?
Yeah, once I get it off, I gotta save it, because if I just drag it off the website, it'll just be a, website link, and I always hate it when they do that. There, it should be out there. Up
Okay.
there.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think these are like early concept arts for Sonic and the gang and some
They're-
outfits for Sonic Riders.
Sonic and Tails are wearing jumpsuits. Kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love the art style. Yeah, it looks nice. And yet again, very science fiction-y. Although here it looks a little better. I'm not sure why. They always wanted to give Sonic Riders like a very futuristic feel, don't they? Then again, with Sonic Heroes also had that. I guess they just wanted to make Sonic very futuristic at that point. Because Sonic Adventure was too realistic or something. But sometimes
I
I
don't
feel
know.
Sonic Adventure 2 should also take place more in the future, since they all talk about Space Colony Arc from being 50 years ago, even though that doesn't really match up with our history. Can't imagine them sending in a space colony in the 1950s.
Well, it could be like a secret space project or something.
I guess, but at the time they could barely get just a normal rocket in on the moon, let alone build an entire actual functioning
Well, you
space
know about
station.
like how about all the secret conspiracies about the moon landing, like or like how Area 51 might have secret alien technology and that.
Oh, I'm sure Sonic Adventure 2 is kind of based on that sort of thing, yeah. Makes sense. But yeah, I love the art style in this. Looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Amy
Yeah,
looks
it
kind
looks
of
cool.
Christmassy. Could almost be like an Christmas outfit. Just make it a little more fluffy looking. I like her
Yeah.
fingerless
Yeah.
gloves too.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I don't think there's ever been a Sonic game, or at least any official Sonic media, where the characters are wearing fingerless gloves.
Yeah, this is the first time we see their fingers, isn't it? Tails and
Yeah.
Amy's fingers. Oh my god.
Well, the Avatar has some fingerless gloves in Sonic Forces.
Yeah, it does remind me like back on the old days of DeviantArt how every Sonic OC you see has fingerless gloves.
Popular at the time.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael
Although now
Jackson
that-
wears it.
Yeah. Although now that I look at it, like the way that Amy has fingerless gloves, it implies that Amy's regular hands are pink, despite the fact that her arms are tan.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I just noticed that. It's like weird. Like I always imagined her arm and hands were just the same color.
That's a good point.
Well,
yeah.
And also, if you look at Sonic, he also with his jumpsuit, he has blue arms.
because of the jumpsuit, yeah.
Yeah, the jumpsuit. Yeah.
Oh, I have blue arms. And
Well,
green eyes,
years
the
before-
horror.
Yeah,
I
blue
feel like
arms.
I feel like whoever drew this, like because they gave Amy long sleeves, maybe they forgot her arms are supposed to be tan. But yeah, it is very weird to see her with pink hands.
Yeah.
That is a
Oh,
good
I
point,
don't
yeah.
like thinking about that.
Maybe
'Cause
it's she doesn't have fingerless gloves. Just the gloves themselves are red and pink at the same time.
Oh, maybe,
Yeah,
I
it could
hope
be.
so.
but I doubt that. Oh, and it's making me think of like original movie Sonic design where he just had white hands.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. All he had was just shoes, and that's it.
My wife says it looks like the Switzerland flag, Amy's costume. I should look that up.
Oh yeah, it does kind of look like Switzerland.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
neutral.
yeah. Maybe that's Amy's
What?
origin. She's Switzerland.
I don't know what living in Switzerland is like, but the flag is a big plus.
Yeah. I know. I know I have an online friend that lives in Switzerland, but yeah, it's been a long time since I've talked to him. We used to be fans of the show of My Little Pony, but he kind of lost interest. We still talk every now and then whenever I remember his name.
I've never been to Switzerland.
Does
yet.
he yodel at
I
you?
don't want to go yet. Yodeling, yeah.
Oh, he doesn't yodel. At least now that I know of.
Doesn't need to call. You could just hear him.
Awesome drawing. Yeah. We got another question in the chat. One that I can't answer. You.
Yeah, someone asked. I do wonder. Does any one of you have the Encyclopedia? And if yes, what do you think about it?
I don't.
I don't either. Sorry.
I do.
I don't. I don't
Oh.
yet, but I'm probably gonna pick it up at some point.
I guess I'm the only one that actually has it because I stumbled upon it when I went to a used game store when I was browsing around there, and I also found another book called The World of Sonic, which is kind of the same thing, except it's kind of more like made for kids, and it's much different. The way it's structured is that half of the pages are just going over character descriptions, like oh, these is like who they are and their likes and dislikes, yada yada, and then the second half is describing the basic stories of the plots that happen, mostly in the modern Sonic games. I don't think the classic Sonic games are ever mentioned there. But the interesting thing about it is that all the narration is done by Sonic and his friends, so it's not just this wall of text. You just see Sonic and his friends with speech bubbles like, "Oh yeah, this is what happened in Sonic Adventure 2," that kind of thing.
All right. Now, can you talk about Encyclopedia? Because A little off topic.
Right. Sorry. right. The Encyclopedia. Yeah, I have it. I have the standard version, so I don't have the fancy one with all the games on it. But yeah, it's definitely not what people were expecting. Like, people were excited, like, oh, maybe this is gonna be like a book that finally gives us like details, a more established lore and history in the games. But no, it doesn't really do that. It's just more of a basic description of the games, what they are, the characters, yada yada.
It's basically a fancy manual of the games.
Yeah, as you said, a book made by Captain Obvious. But yeah, the contents itself, like, yeah, there's basic details here and there. Of course, I was surprised to see some obscure games get mentioned, like the Japanese arcade games, and in the back of the book there is a timeline, but it's just going over release dates of Sonic games. And I'm most surprised to see the Japan exclusive mobile phone games get mentioned, like Sonic Racing Shift Up and Sonic Billiards. Those got mentioned, but no mentioning of Amy's American Page 1. Blasphemy!
I knew that was coming. Here's a picture.
But yeah, aside from the obscure ones, they of course, the other thing that surprised us, like, oh, hey, Sonic Chronicles is acknowledged. So, yeah, take that, Ken Penders.
Oh, and he was mad about that.
Oh, yeah, he pitched quite the bitch fit on Twitter.
And it's funny because, like, he pretends as if, like, oh, Ian must have snuck that in without Sega knowing, as if, like, Sega didn't read and approve every single thing in there.
Well, what do you expect from a guy who has an inflated ego, who prefers to be a one-man band rather than a team player? Yeah. But yeah, so aside from the game descriptions and whatnot, it seems like this book is mostly known for having a lot of mistakes. Like, there's like one instance, there's like fan art that's used to show off one of the animal critters. There's a lot of details in the story and character descriptions that are wrong. And of course, the other thing that's noticeable is in the Sonic Heroes section, they use screenshots from a fan-made Sonic 06 mod, where it showed me running around a tutorial level from Sonic Heroes.
Whoopsie boops.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird, though, all the mistakes. It's kind of funny how Sonic Adventure is the one that has the most mistakes, or at least according to the Sonic Wiki. I guess Ian Flynn never played Tails Adventure.
How dare he?
Yeah. And you know what the sad thing is? Like, the book is written by Ian Flynn, the same guy who wrote the complete Sonic comic encyclopedia, which is kind of the same thing. The only difference is there's less mistakes in the Sonic comic one than in the encyclopedia one. And there's actually a timeline section in the comic one going over the lore and the history, which is something that the encyclopedia should have used, or at least could have had.
Yeah, that's basically my opinion. Like, what we wanted was a book from the insider's perspective. Like, we want to hear from Sega what their thoughts is on the game. And instead they wrote it from the perspective of the fans. When, hey... Like the sort of thing you read on Sonic Retro or TV Tropes or something. Like, I don't need a book that explains those things. We already have those. Like, what I want is an official story. Like, when you read about Sonic Secret Rings, they give us the insider's details, like interviews. Like, why is Solomon designed like a skeleton instead of represented by a Sonic character like the other characters or something? Like, interview the people who made the game and give us new trivia. That's what I wanted to see. I mean, what I really wanted to see was actual lore, but even if we're approaching this from a meta perspective, just as video games developed by Sega, then give us the perspective from Sega and people inside the company. And instead it's just like outsiders' observations, which I don't need an official book for. Fans are much better at doing that anyway. So that's kind of my opinion. But yeah, I can't give a real opinion or review on the book because I haven't read it. But yeah, the pages I saw... That was pretty much my thoughts on it.
Yeah, we gave some of our thoughts from like previews that we saw on Twitter in a different live stream. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Real quick.
No.
Yeah.
Real quick. Bash Magic in the comments asks what our opinions are on the Metarex enemies in Season 3 of Sonic X. I suppose we'll get into that more when we get to Season 3.
I haven't seen Season 3 yet. I keep myself a virgin until we get there. So
they kind of look like Power Ranger villains.
So
you're in for a surprise, then, Roger, because that's when it really gets good.
Yeah,
I have something to look forward to. But what did you say, Luke? I didn't hear you.
Oh, earlier I was saying I do have a book called The History of Sonic the Hedgehog, which does have a lot of in-depth... they talked about the origins of the Sonic games, the development of the games in depth, and I think it did have like very detailed history about the games, and I think it had like interviews with the developers as well.
All right, yeah, there are a couple books that do have that. I mean, I have one Dreamcast book that shows like the storyboards of one of the cutscenes of Sonic Avenger 1. That was pretty cool. And I have an art book that does show like early sketches of Batnik. So I have some cool behind the scenes stuff. It's just this encyclopedia doesn't do that sort of thing. But yeah, I agree. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our
yeah.
opinion on season 3. I guess when we get there, still have a lot of episodes to go. I haven't even got to the Sonic Adventure adaptations yet.
Yeah, and then of course, knowing me, I'll just be like, yeah, when you get to season 3, make sure you watch the Japanese version, because the English dub kind of butchers it.
Well, we're watching both versions, so we can compare and then bore everyone with, in the Japanese version this happened, and in the English version this happened. Like, I'm not sure if it's fun if we constantly do that, but they are interesting observations to me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything else?
Well, it's not really a question, but I noticed someone talked about... Well, someone left a comment saying how the encyclopedia is missing Sonic Pocket Adventure, and yeah, like the book itself with its contents, it does mention a lot of Sonic games, classic, modern, Game Gear, a few obscure ones. The only ones that are left out for the most part are the really obscure ones. So Sonic Pocket Adventure, the Sonic X game on Leapster, Amy's American Page 1. Yeah, those are just, I guess, too obscure to fit into that book.
Well, actually, Ian Flynn said he was specifically told not to include Sonic Pocket Adventure for some reason.
Oh, that's weird.
That is
I
weird.
guess Sega just treats that game as like the black sheep of the family. Just like Sonic 3.
But yeah, that does definitely proves...
Might be because of Neo Geo, then?
And I imagine it could be of Neo Geo legal issues, I suppose.
How did it handle Sonic 06?
I haven't read the book fully, but I know there's a section on Sonic 06, and I think someone pointed out that the screenshot that they used for Mephiles is just a T-pose from like a model sort. They didn't use like an official artwork or anything.
That's painful.
Yeah. Apparently, Pocket Adventure was banned by Sega. I guess that's why they told Ian Flynn not to feature it in the book.
Banned?
That's what I just said.
Why banned? Because it is like a weird remake of Sonic 2?
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose it's more of just the whole like legal issues with SNK or whatever that owns.
Yeah, I have to assume it has to do with SNK and Neo Geo.
Yeah, because that's like the only Sonic game that ever surfaced on any Neo Geo console or handheld.
Oh, and someone asked
but the fact...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, but the fact that Sega specifically told him not to include Sonic Pocket Adventure means that they did approve of Sonic Chronicles being included. So, suck it, Ken Penders.
Good point,
yeah.
And it means that they actually remember Pocket Adventure. That's also shocking to me.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the one thing I also noticed is the Sonic Chronicles section in the book. The still that they use for Shade is actually her dressed up in her full armor. We don't see like the version where she takes the helmet off. So I don't know, maybe that was their one workaround to get past Ken Penders and whatnot. Or they did it out of spite. Yeah, suck on that, Penders.
Perhaps, who knows? Or maybe they want to keep it from spoilers, even though the text still spoils everything.
Yeah, that is weird, because like the game ends on a cliffhanger, and obviously Sega's never going to go back to that game.
Unfortunately, no. Oh well, I guess a fan game can jump in. I'm surprised. Wasn't there a fan game making a 3D remake of this game? Still in development,
I didn't hear about that. Oh wait, yeah, I think you mentioned that in one of your Q&As, or at least like the music being remastered.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe we'll get a fan sequel at some point. Otherwise, I guess you could consider Sonic Forces a bit of a sequel, since with all the time traveling and dimension hopping, it probably mess with the timeline.
Oh yeah, despite the fact that Takashi Iizuka kept saying like, "Oh, it's not sequel, it is brand new experience." Yeah, brand new experience, my ass.
And depends on how you look at it. Or we can always just assume that Silver saw how messed up the future became and just traveled back in time and prevented Sonic Chronicles from happening. You could come up with all kinds of explanations, I guess.
Yeah. At least we have a better Sonic Forces already. And it's called Sonic Sat AM.
Pretty much.
Hey.
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll talk about those in the live stream.
Yeah. And maybe revisit one of the comics or whatever we feel like doing.
So much left to cover, so I guess we'll have plenty of live streams to do for the future. Endless talking and complaining about minor details in Sonic. Aren't we lucky? Wonderful. Anyway, yeah, I guess it's time for us to quit for now. It's getting late here. We're running out of things to talk about. So, thanks everyone for joining me yet again. I'm sorry, viewers, I haven't done any animation lately. Sorry, Luke, you said something?
Oh, no, just... No, that's all right.
All right, I keep yapping through everyone. I'm sorry. But, yeah.
People complain that I'm the chatterbox on this stream.
I guess we're both guilty. Oh, well. I wish the captain talked more. He has much more clearance than us. He's much more clear than us talking.
Yeah, but I'm also lagging way more than you. This Montana Wi-Fi is not great.
Sorry to hear that.
I guess this must be all that fighting with Sonic and Robotnik that's disrupting it in Montana.
They keep taking down the towers.
Yeah.
Someone needs to be a superhero in Montana. All the superheroes are in New York, so they leave the rest of America undefensed.
Exactly.
Right, so yeah, see you all guys in 2 weeks again, and girls and everything in between. And yeah, talk about Sonic X later again. See you all.